Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Happy 2024. Here's hoping for a fantastic, fun, creative new year for me and for all of you as well. Today's video, I want to show you a couple of items that I've gotten recently for Christmas or right thereafter. Most I have used, one or two not quite as much, but I wanted to go ahead and share. Some I'm very excited about, and one, friends, is a game changer. So let's get started. One of the first things I want to tell you about are these white pens. My husband kept needing to borrow my white pens. Sometimes I give him things to borrow and yeah, I never see them again. So I thought I would go ahead and stock up. Now this is one of the items I have not really used. It's called Arttx. Let me see if I can show you. All of these are the same size, which I believe is a 1. Truthfully, would have been happier if they had all been varying sizes of nibs, so like 0.5, 0.7, because we a lot of times have a use for a much smaller fine line. And I'm not going to get it with this pen, but it's a 1, it's fairly small, and I thought it would be good just to have several around. Now, let's take a look at a piece of red paper and let's just see. Now, it might take a second to get going, but let's see what it does. Oh, yeah, comes out really well. Hello. Comes out well. It looks like it has a little bit of a blank space, like where the tip hit, but overall, it does a good job. Hopefully I'll like them and they'll be able to perform in the way that I need them to. But these will also be some I'll be giving to my husband if he asks for more white pens. Put this back. Now next I got these white paint pens and it's from Artistro. And I have used one of these and I was pleased. I was pleased with how it worked. It's a paint pen, so along the lines of a Posca. This is extra fine tip. They're 0.7, so it's a little smaller than the other one that I showed you. This is white acrylic paint, so you have to kind of shake it up and press down to get it to start. But once it does, it comes out really well. Let's do our little test. So that one's just ready to go. But yeah, it comes out really well. That wrote really, really well. I know you're kind of far up, so let me bring that up to you. Yeah, so look at the difference. You can really see the difference in how they write. That one's really solid. It didn't leave any little streak in the middle. And yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I'll show you where else I've used it in just a minute. Okay. Next, this is just a little sketchbook. And I'll be honest, I can't remember where I got it, and there are no markings on the inside. Like nothing. So, there's no name. I'll see if I can remember where I got it. It could have been anywhere from the dollar store or Walmart. I'm sorry, I just don't remember. But what I'm excited about is just to have a little notebook where I can just keep up with my sketches. I have been using these little pads, which did come from the dollar store. And I've gone through a couple of these, just sketching, just to practice. Sometimes when I'm on a meeting at work, I just want to kind of sit, I'm listening, but I want to doodle. And I've got one down in my office that is almost full. But I thought it would be nice to have an actual little book. And so I've been doing a few sketches. Isn't he sweet? It was before Christmas when I started doing this, rather than getting it as a Christmas gift. But it's really nice. If you don't have a special little book, I encourage you to get one. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It can be one of these, just a little tablet, but just something to have handy just to sit and doodle, because a lot of times your doodles turn into something really cute. You might want to take it to the next step and add some color to it, add some paint. So it's good to keep a little notebook around. Now the items from here on out will start to level up just a little bit. I do want to show you this before I get to the super good stuff. I recently have been doodling more, therefore I've had a need to sharpen my pencil. And I had a couple of little battery operated ones which worked well at first, but it just didn't last very long, and I was in desperate need of a good pencil sharpener because I love a sharp point to my pencil. And I looked online and this got really good reviews, so I thought I would go ahead and buy it. And it has been fantastic. It does plug in, so it's really powerful, and I've been very, very pleased with it. So if you're looking for a good pencil sharpener, so far this has been fantastic. Here's an example of the point. Like I said, I like a really sharp point to my pencil. It's really frustrating to draw with a pencil that's dull, or maybe even the lead is uneven. So you think you're going to draw at this point, but it draws maybe a little underneath because it's not smooth. It's only been about a week. Like I said, I've not used it for months and months, but so far I'm very, very pleased. All right, so let's get to the goodies. This is the first Daniel Smith watercolor I've ever bought, and it's Moonglow. And everybody has been using these colors in videos, and so I was just curious and I wanted to give it a try. I've used it a little bit and I really do like it. It is the perfect shade color. If you needed to add a little shade and it gives dimension to your picture, this is great. I'm very excited about it. I have used it a few times and I have been very pleased. Okay, next I treated myself to some watercolors, and I saw someone use these QOR watercolors, and I'm so sorry I don't remember who it was. If you're like me, over the holidays you watch just a bunch of videos from various people. So many people put out content in December that my feed was just full of people that I had never heard of. So channels that I did not watch, I've never watched before, which is fun because you get introduced to just a whole bunch of new content, and that's exciting. And that may have happened to some of you. Maybe that's how I showed up into your feed. But I saw these and they're very pigmented and I was really curious, so I bought them. And I have been using them and I've swatched them, and so far I've been very excited about them. They are highly pigmented. It doesn't take a whole lot. As a matter of fact, I'm finding I need to use more water to lighten them up than I did for my other paints. Now, this is the set that I got, and I'll read you off the colors. These colors are not ones that I'm super familiar with. Some of the colors I am, but like Bismuth Vandate Yellow? Yeah, I've never heard of that. This one is Nickel Azo Yellow. I'm not familiar with that color either. Transparent Pyrrole Orange, Pyrrole Red Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Dioxazine Purple, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue, Sap Green, Transparent Brown Oxide, Burnt Umber Natural, and Payne's Gray. I'm sorry, this Phthalo Blue, it does say Phthalo Blue green shade. It comes out very blue, but it does say green shade in parentheses. So I've been very pleased with these. And I'll show you some of the things I've done, which also kind of takes me into the new paper that I've been using. But here's one, and I used these watercolors to do this painting, and I absolutely love him. Let me bring you down a little bit. So I just think he's adorable. Now, I also used the white paint pens for the snow. So that shows you how well it shows up when you put it over top of paint. It shows up really well, and I'm very pleased with the watercolor with the white paint pens, and with the paper. And let's get to the paper right now. This is something else I saw on a video and I wanted to try it out. And I just thought it meant you pull the page up and you pull it off. Okay, that's not what it is. Let me bring you out a little bit more again. This is the Baohong Academy Watercolor Paper Pad. And it's 100% cotton, which is also new to me. I've never had 100% cotton paper. And I was a little confused. To be honest, I had to pull up a video to figure out how to get into the paper pad. Because when I first got it, it came like this with this green cover. And I'm like, so how do I get to the paper? Here's the thing. It's glued on all four sides, except for a little space right here. And the paper pad, when I opened it up, it came with this little tool. Between here and here does not have any glue on it. So you can stick it in to a piece and then you push it down and then you just drag it and you pull it all the way around. And that is how you release it from the glue. A lot of people enjoy painting on paper pads because it keeps it nice and stretched, right? So if you're painting and you're using a lot of water, it can't pull up and curl. It's stuck down. That is a benefit of using it. So far, I've taken it off, and I'll tell you why in just a minute, but it's been a real pleasure to paint on. I painted this one, and I've painted this one. And this one I framed and gave to my husband. As he says, it makes it look really soft. The water moves a little bit differently on 100% cotton paper than it does on other paper. And like anything new that you get, it takes a while to get used to how it works and how to use it and how to get the end results that you're looking for. So you just have to play around with it a little bit, but that's been exciting. Now, the reason I end up peeling it off and not painting right on the pad leads me into the next item or two that I want to show you. Tracing paper. Now, I asked my husband to pick up some tracing paper for me when he was out and about, and this is what he brought. And it's done a really good job. It's huge, but you can always cut it down if you don't want to have to worry about using a whole great big sheet. But it's very substantial. It's not the real thin, frail paper or something that you feel like you're going to tear. It's really substantial. You can erase and you can do a lot on it without worrying about it ripping. So far I have been pleased with this, and it is from Master's Touch. I've been using the tracing paper to put on my Lightboard. This is a game changer. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get one of these. I have loved it. And let me tell you why. Because what this does is let me sketch on a regular piece of paper rather than having to do my original sketch on watercolor paper. Because you know, when you erase on watercolor paper, it can change how the paper, how the paint goes on because it changes the texture. And I have to erase a lot. I just do. I'm not a great artist. I can eventually kind of get there and draw a decent picture, but I erase a million times. And so it used to kind of stress me out to have to draw on my watercolor paper because every time I had to erase, I worried about what I was doing to the paper. When I go to paint and add my watercolor, is it going to be funky in that section? So this really takes away a lot of that worry. Here's what you do. I can draw on a regular piece of paper. Even in my sketchbook. You saw this, right? Here. This was my first attempt. And I did it from this using my Lightboard. Now, if you don't want to rip your page out, which I did not want to do that, what I did was I transferred it to a different piece of paper first. You can transfer it right to your tracing paper. Here's a piece of tracing paper, because it is large, I didn't cut it, but I put several items on there. See? Here's my little guy right here. It is powered with a cord, and you need to plug it into a power source to get it to work. Now, the only thing that I didn't like about this one It didn't come with the little plug that you plug into the wall. But my camera, there is one right here. You plug it in. Now it works best with the lights dimmed or off around you. You turn it on. Ooh, and it gets nice and bright. Now if I held my finger on this button, it can control the brightness level, but I like it as bright as it can get. So you put your tracing paper or whatever paper you have, you lay it down, and then put your piece of watercolor paper over top, and then there's your image. And you just take your nice sharp pencil and you go around and you sketch it. And then you've got a sketch and you're ready to paint. But yeah, I've had an absolute blast using this. So for my sketch pad, here's a little Santa. This little hat, here's that. I sketched it out and played around. The painting part might not be so great, but I was able to get the sketch. Here's my little deer. And this little guy, I may have actually just drawn him because I painted him a couple of times. Here he is. I thought that turned out really cute. That was the first time I painted him. He's basically just a circle, so I could probably draw him okay. These two little snowmen, I painted these, which I plan to give to my best friend. Although I'm looking and it seems like it's a little dark, so I may try to repaint this one before I give it to her. To me, it felt like it opened up a whole new world. It preserves my paper, especially if you're using expensive paper, right? So if you're going to invest in good paper and good paint, you don't want to ruin it by erasing all over it first. So this one has been my game changer. Like I said, I'll try to add all of the information that I can about the products that I've shown you in the description box below. There you go. These are my favorite new items that I've gotten in the Christmas season, and I know I will be using them all throughout 2024. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.